Well, shalom, dear friends, and welcome to this video. Um, I have a playlist on my YouTube page that's entitled Reviews and Tutorials. And this video is going to be a little bit of both. I have done some videos before about Bible software. I've done a couple of those. I have a few more of those in mind that I would like to do. But I'm kind of excited about this one. This is going to be a review of a version of Bible software that I really like and want to share with you. But it's also going to be a kind of an introduction to you of a Bible society in Israel, an organization or society in Israel that's involved, like many Bible societies, in printing up Bibles and just really, just in general, in making the Bible available to people all over the world in a variety of different languages, but especially to the people of Israel. So this word at the top of our screen here, HaKtuvim, is a Hebrew word, and it means, I guess the literal meaning would be that which is written. It is the kind of the standard Hebrew word to refer to the Holy Scriptures. So that would be one way of talking about the Bible. And the organization that, oh, by the way, the HaKtuvim is the name of the Bible software that I'm going to be sharing with you. The organization that is all about this mission project to make the Bible available to people all over the world, but especially in Israel. It's called the Bible Society in Israel. And the photograph here we have is of the Bible Society in Israel. It's just a small little shop. And I have made many trips to the Holy Land. And whenever you go to the Holy Land, just about everybody goes to Jerusalem. And as you're going through the old city, which that usually involves going to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and a number of other kind of biblical sites in the old city, this is one of the places that you can visit. And I took many trips to Israel and never visited the Bible Society in Israel until we began traveling with my favorite guide in all the world. His name is Lior. And Lior began taking us to the Bible Society in Israel as we were walking through the streets of the old city of Jerusalem. So we went in to visit there. I guess, according to the caption here, there are centers, there are Bible Society in Israel centers in Haifa, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem. This one that we're looking at in the picture looks like the one in Jerusalem. So I think that is the one, but there are shops also in Tel Aviv and Haifa in Israel, and I haven't been to those. Now, one of the things that is neat about this is that in Israel, you would expect the Bible Society in Israel to be an exclusively non-messianic Bible society. So I would expect anyway that they would publish lots of biblical material, including Bibles, but it would only be the Old Testament. And when we visited the Bible Society in Israel, I was delighted to see that they seem to be a Messianic Jewish Bible Society, which means that they are either themselves believers in Yeshua or they are supportive of the New Testament and Christians and so forth. So when we visited the Bible Society in Israel store on one of our trips, I, of course, looked through the materials that they had available for sale, and I bought one of my favorite Bibles in the world. That is, it's a diglot Bible, which means it's an English and Hebrew Bible, but it's Old Testament and New Testament. Both testaments provide you with an English text and with a Hebrew text, even the Hebrew translation of the New Testament. So that's kind of one of my favorite things. I'm glad they are also oriented around the New Testament and Christians. So yeah. Some of the other reviews and tutorials that I've done of biblical software are, let's see, I have done eSword, which is a free Bible software program, and it's a really good one for a free one. But for students of the biblical languages of Greek and Hebrew, it's kind of limited. They do have some texts in eSword which have the Strong's lexicon numbers. So they have what I call Bible helps associated with some of those books. And it just has some great features, and probably the best feature about eSword is that it is free. It also has a compare feature where you can look at all the different translations of the Bible, all the different versions, and kind of compare how one single verse is translated by all those. So I've done eSword. I really like that. I've also done a review on Bible software that is called Olive Tree Bible software. And that is probably my favorite as far as the language helps are concerned, because the Bible study, the language features of a lot of the resources that you can get, a lot of the Bibles that you can get, include like Strong's lexicon features for every word in the English Bible. So, for example, you can pass your cursor over or click on any particular word, and you'll come up with the original language meaning and definition and so forth. And the neat thing that I have found about Olive Tree is that not only can you get like the meaning of that word, but you can also dig deep into the root and the origin and just all kinds of neat information about that. So that's probably my favorite feature about Olive Tree. The one thing that I'm kind of disappointed with about Olive Tree is Olive Tree does not have any Hebrew translations of the New Testament. Now, that may seem like an odd thing to be wanting, since basically the only near original documents that we have of the New Testament are written in Greek. And Olive Tree has great Greek word study helps connected with their Bible software. But no Hebrew translations of the New Testament texts. Now, I am one of these people that supports a group from Hebrew University called the Jerusalem School of Synoptic Research, I believe it's called. And some great, very well-known and respected scholars are associated with that. David Flusser, the late David Flusser, is probably the most notable one. Robert Lindsay, David Biven, Ray Pritz, the list goes on of scholars that are associated with that group. And they are of the conviction, based on ancient documentation for one thing, but also based upon just their studious observations of the Greek of the New Testament, they have come to the conclusion that the Greek New Testaments that we use bear all the evidence of being translated from an original Hebrew, because a lot of the sentence structure and a lot of the vocabulary and stuff it just kind of gives evidence that our Greek texts were translated from a Hebrew original. And actually, if you look at the grammar and the syntax of the Greek New Testament, it's not that good. It's kind of awkward. It just looks like it was a Hebrew original that was translated with some difficulty into the Greek language. So because I kind of hold to that point of view, I'm very interested in Hebrew translations of the New Testament, and so how do I want to say this? I'm not saying that any of these like more modern Hebrew translations of the New Testament in any way represent what I suspect were Hebrew originals that were later translated into Greek. These were done much later. There are some pretty famous Hebrew translations of the Greek New Testament. One was done by Franz Delitzsch, I think in the 1800s. One was done by Zalkinson. I think that was done in the 1800s also. Franz Delitzsch used the Hebrew vocabulary from the Old Testament as kind of a guide for his. Zalkinson used the Hebrew text of the Mishnah, a little bit newer Hebrew text for the vocabulary in his translation. And there is a modern Hebrew translation of the New Testament. That is the one that's in the Bible I was talking about. And that translation originates from this Bible Society in Israel. And it's probably the most popular Hebrew translation of the New Testament in Israel. I don't really have statistics for that, but that's just the sense that I get. So I'm, like I say, I'm a little disappointed that Olive Tree doesn't have a Hebrew translation of the New Testament for me to use. So for that feature, I had to go to another software program called Accordance. And both Olive Tree and Accordance, you have to, I guess you pay a nominal fee maybe for the platform, but any resources that you get in those two, you have to buy those. And let's say like a Bible text for either one of those, just a straight Bible with no study helps, no language helps, probably costs, $30 or something like that. But if you get one with study aids, it's probably going to be between, I don't know, $50 and $70 just for the study helps. And if you get something like a Hebrew language Bible or a Greek New Testament Bible with the study aids, it's going to cost even, it might cost even more than $70. So if you use Olive Tree or Accordance, you're going to invest in some money. Now, the version of Accordance that I use is the free version. It's called Accordance Lite. And they would really like for me to upgrade to a version that I would have to pay for. But the Lite version meets my needs and stuff like that. And I have found that in the videos, like the Bible study videos that I make, that Accordance is kind of my go-to text. It's really easy to use. It's got a lot of nice features in it. And it does have Hebrew New Testaments. It has the Delitzsch translation of the New Testament into Hebrew, and it also has this modern Hebrew translation into Hebrew. Also, in Accordance, you can get the modern Hebrew translation of the New Testament with study aids, with language aids. But the drawback to that one is the drawback to the modern Hebrew New Testament with word study aids is that it doesn't give you the meaning of the Hebrew words that are used in that Hebrew translation, but it gives you the definitions of the Greek words. So those study aids are assuming that the New Testament was originally written in the Greek language, and it just gives you the kind of the English meaning of the Greek words from which the Hebrew, uses the vocabulary that it uses. That sounds rather confusing. But this HaKtuvim Bible software that we'll go to in a few minutes um, has just about everything I ever dreamed of. And it's really one of my favorite, it's one of my favorite Bible software programs, with a few exceptions. And I'll tell you, what my gripes are about it. But I mean, I want to say right up front, this is amazing Bible software, especially when you consider that this is absolutely free. Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, how do you go about doing it? Well, you just do a Google search or whatever your preferred search engine is on this word, HaKtuvim. So if you're not familiar with Hebrew, write down these English letters, HaKtuvim, HaKtuvim. And just do a Google search on that. And if you do, on just that one word, and if you do, it will bring you like the first, at least on Google, the first example, the first sample of that search that it shows is the website for the Bible Society in Israel. And let me show you what will pop up on your screen. This is what you'll get. If you click on their website, this is what comes up. And you can do lots of other things on this website. For example, the tab that's open now is Study. And there are a bunch of other tabs that I will talk about after I show you the Bible study software, because on Zoom here, it's a little bit challenging for me to get back to the study material. But they have topical studies that I don't think are active right now. There is an About feature that's about the Bible Society in Israel that is really interesting, and we will read through that. It's kind of brief. You can donate to the Bible Society. You can shop at the Bible Society, and we'll be doing a little bit of shopping there. There's a contact tab that tells you how you can get in touch with the Bible Society. There is kind of a daily devotional thing. And one of the things that I think is neat about this is if you click on the devotional, some of the devotions come from the Old Testament and some of them come from the New Testament. So again, this leads me to believe that the Bible Society in Israel is either friendly towards the New Testament and Christians, or they may be Messianic Jews or Christians themselves. And then there's a help tab also. But let's go ahead and take a look at the study features of this software. And I will just start going through this right now. The text that is open is John chapter 3 in the New American Standard Bible, with, by the way, study guide helps, as we'll talk about in a few minutes. So John chapter 3 in the New American Standard Bible is the story of Nicodemus coming to visit with Jesus by night and so forth. The other window that I have open is the Bible, the Hebrew Bible with modern Hebrew New Testament. Now, this is a version of the Bible that includes both the Old Testament, that's what they mean by Hebrew Bible. And by the way, BSI means Bible Society in Israel. So the Hebrew Bible, in their nomenclature, is the Old Testament with modern Hebrew New Testament. And the one we're looking at here, the modern New Testament we're looking at here, does have study guide helps. And that's the stuff that I want to share with you. There is a little plus sign over here on the right side of the page. And if I wanted to, I could open up another window. So we could have 3 windows. Actually, I don't know what the limit on windows is. I've had 3 windows open before, and they all work nicely together. So I normally just use 2 windows here when I do my Bible studies and such. The way you go from text to text is you click on this tab that indicates the book of the Bible and the chapter that you're on. So if you click on it, it gives you all these options. And I'm just going to go to the book of Genesis. We'll just do Genesis 1:1 as an example. So I'm remaining here in the New American Standard Bible, and we've gone to Genesis 1:1. And here is the first verse of the Bible in English. And one of the things I like about that is that if I want to read the first verse of the Bible and I put my cursor in the vicinity of verse 1, it highlights that verse in light green. But the really neat thing is that in the window I have for the Hebrew Bible, this is the Old Testament in Hebrew, it's also lighted up green. So I can always make sure I'm staying on the same verse between my English and Hebrew Bibles. And this is really helpful stuff, especially for students of Hebrew. I do videos on Hebrew language. I have a playlist on my YouTube page called Hebrew School. And it's like very basic grammar lessons. And then we just spend a lot of time reading through the Hebrew Old Testament and New Testament and translating those words and talking about them. And I just have a great time making those videos and helping people to learn both biblical era Hebrew language and modern Hebrew language, since the New Testament documents I use are from this modern translation of the Hebrew New Testament. Let me continue at the top or I'll forget to do it. You can, like most Bible software, you can do searches in these examples of Scripture, these versions of Scripture. So you would just type in like a search word or something like that, and then click on the whatchamacallit here, and it will show you where all your uses of that word or whatever you're searching on is. There is a little settings icon here. So if you click on that, it just has some choices that you can make on how you want your search to be done, and it explains each one of them. So normal is highlighted here, and then the explanation down below is a normal search returns exact matches of the special term, and also returns Bible references. You can use the wildcard of an asterisk if you want to, and examples of that would be these are things that you can search on. You can use John 3:16, you can search on covenant or worship. And if you use the wildcard there, I think it would give you any example of the, like any grammatical form of the word worship. Then if you click on advanced, it explains what advanced is, returns all the inflected forms of a given Hebrew word. For verbs, use a 3 or 4 letter root. Wildcards are not allowed. And here's some examples of things that you could search on. I've never done this before, but I assume if you pick that one and you type a search in here, it's going to be, you're going to be searching on Hebrew letters. And then the root search is a root search, returns all the inflected forms of a given Hebrew root, including verbs, nouns, adjectives, and so forth. They use a 3 or 4 letter root. Wildcards are not allowed. It's the same kind of deal. So for advanced scholars, which I don't include myself as one, I'm kind of an amateur Hebrew student and scholar. You might want to click those. I just leave it on normal because I do most of my searches in the English. Actually, I don't know if I've ever done a search using this Bible software platform, but I mean, the feature is there for you to use. Now, this is a really cool feature. It has a, as one would expect, it has a audio version of the Bible. Now, I'm going to click play here, and I'm going to hope that the sound, that the audio comes through on this video that I'm making. So if I click on play, I know I will be able to hear a narrator read this whole chapter of Genesis, Genesis 1:1. And he's going to read it in Hebrew. I'm pretty sure he's going to read it in Hebrew. I don't know if they have this feature in the English Bibles. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And if you hear something, that's great. You'll get to hear what the first few verses of Genesis sound like in Hebrew. And then if you don't hear anything, it's because it doesn't work on the video. The video didn't pick it up or something. So there may be a little bit of a dead spot here. But this feature is really nice because you can just set the Hebrew Bible to play audio and it'll play the whole Bible for you. And that's a nice way. Like sometimes if I don't feel like studying by reading something, but I just want to hear some Hebrew, I'll just turn on an audio Bible, either this one or others that I have, and I just listen to Hebrew being spoken. And since I live in the United States, and Hebrew isn't normally spoken among my circle of friends, this is the only opportunity that I have to hear Hebrew spoken. And it really helps you with your language development and maturity, and it helps you to pronounce the words right and stuff like that. When I first started listening to audio Hebrew, it just sounded like babble. And I had studied Hebrew for years from from written Hebrew stuff. But audio Hebrew was brand new to me. And now I listen to it almost every day and understand most of the words that are being spoken. So, if I go to Israel, if I visit there and hear Hebrew speakers, I can pretty much follow what they're saying. So let me go ahead and see if I can get this thing to play Genesis chapter 1 in a way that you can hear it. I hope you can hear it. Here we go.
בראשית, בראשית, פרק א'. בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. You just heard two verses from the Hebrew Bible. And I hope you could hear it. Otherwise, like I say, it's just dead space. But as I was trying to point out for you what words were being read there, it shows another nice feature of this Bible software program, and that is it highlights the word that is being focused on or spoken in the audio. It highlights it in the Hebrew and also in the English. So this first word in Genesis 1:1, Bereshit, if I didn't know what that meant, I could just glance over to the English version and see that it means beginning. Actually, it means in the beginning, but that's a nice feature to have in the Bible that we're using. Now, if I click on this word, then down at the bottom of the page, this information window crops up, and it gives me the kind of the basic word from the text without the prefix preposition, although that may appear also in this information. It gives me the Strong's lexicon number here. It also tells me what the root of that word is. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consonants, and the root is just 3 of those consonants. So we've got a suffix added on there. And it also gives me a pretty thorough definition of what that word is. It means the first. It means in place, time, order, or rank, specifically a first fruit, a beginning, and that is the meaning of Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, is a reference to the original creation of God. It can also be used as the principal thing. It's the word for your head. Rosh is the word for your head. So at the head of time. And the derivation is the same as from 72:18. So here's the word as it appears in the text. Here's the Strong's number for the root word. And then like if we would click on 72:18, it would tell us that the definition is head or beginning or something like that. And then part of speech, Shem Atzam, in Hebrew means the name of a thing or person. So that's the Hebrew way of saying it's a noun. So that is the, let me go, that's all the information it gives us. Now, if I go over to my English and I click on beginning, it's going to give me the same thing. It's going to give me the Hebrew word that stands behind beginning. If I want to click on the verb here, created, in the English. Oh, it's not letting me do it. I guess the New American Standard Bible does not have the word study helps. I was thinking it did. So let me click on the verb here in the Hebrew, and we see that the verb is bara, and it has the Hebrew Strong's number definition there. It means to create, to cut down. It means to select or feed, choose, create, cut down, dispatch, do, make. It is in fact a primitive root, so it doesn't give a root here because that is the root. So the very basic form of the word is a root. And then poal or pual here is the Hebrew way of it's a Hebrew word that means work. So it's the working part of a sentence. It's the verb. That's the Hebrew word for a verb. So and that's how it. I mean, that's how it works for every one of these. If you want to know kind of just the English translation, you look from one open window to the other one, to the English one, and it gives you the English word behind it. If you're interested in, well, what's the Hebrew word for spirit, you look over there, and the Hebrew word is ruach, the va being a conjunction, and then ruach is the Hebrew word for spirit. So lots of really nice language functions. If you just use the dark green, you get an example of how one translator translated that word. If you click on the word, like we'll click on spirit here, it gives you lots more information, including part of speech and like what the origin of the word is and stuff like that. So that's a normal feature. Now, I want to go back here to John chapter 3. That's where we were before. So here we are in the New Testament. Let me see if there's well, that's interesting. So what I just found out is the New American Standard Bible that I'm using here apparently doesn't have any study aids for the Old Testament, but it does have it for the New Testament. That is very interesting. Okay, so here I've got my New American Standard Bible as my English source. And then over here, I've got the Hebrew Bible, the BSI Hebrew Bible Old Testament, plus the modern Hebrew New Testament. And since we're in the New Testament, what you see in this window is the modern Hebrew New Testament with study aids. Very nice. Now, we will go into a little bit of word studies here and some examples in the New Testament, but I almost forgot to share something with you, and that is that if you click on this reference, like New American Standard Bible, it will show you a list of all the different language versions of the Bible that are available. There's an Arabic Bible. There's the Old King James Version. There's the New American Standard, which is the one we're using, and it is highlighted. There is a well-known Spanish version of the Bible. And then in the Hebrew language, we have a contemporary Hebrew Bible, which is a Old Testament in more contemporary language, I guess, but in Hebrew language. So evidently that's like a Hebrew paraphrase of the ancient Hebrew Bible. I've never even clicked on that, so I don't even know what it looks like. Then there is the traditional Hebrew Bible, which is which is an option that doesn't have the New Testament. Then we've got the Hebrew Bible with modern Hebrew New Testament, and that's what I'm using now. It's not highlighted because I'm not in the proper window. If I clicked over here, the Hebrew New Testament would be highlighted. Here is another Hebrew translation of the New Testament, and it's the one by Franz Delitzsch that I told you about earlier. So that is a nice one, but the Delitzsch translation does not have any study aids. So if I use the Delitzsch version, I would be in the same boat that I'm in with accordance. I rejoice that accordance and this have the New Testament translated into a more modern Hebrew. And then we have here the Testimony Hebrew Old Testament adaptation for youth and the modern Hebrew and New Testament. I'm not sure what that is either. And then there's a Russian version. So those are the Bible versions that are available. If I click over here in my modern New Testament, it's the same list. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 versions of the Bible are available for you to use. And then before we do our Bible study, let me click on options here. And this is the options are the same in both windows. So the options that you have are how you want the text presented. So when you look at a Bible text, do you want the verse numbers to show? Well, I do. And here they are. They're listed in the right-hand column. Because as you may know, Hebrew reads from right to left, which is a little awkward for English speakers. And they're on the left side of the verse in the English, which reads from left to right. Do we want the headings, which would be stuff like the new birth? That would tell us what, the different topics are. The new birth thing here is not part of the original Bible. And then do we want cross references? And the cross references are these little letters and numbers that show up in the text. And if we click on them, we'll get little notifications down in the bottom. You also have the option to have paragraph style. Paragraph style, the way I've got it set up without paragraph style is every verse starts on a new line. So it makes it like this presentation makes it real easy to find a verse in this chapter. And what you have to do is, of course, you have to scroll down to find the verse you want. But it's real easy to find when you don't have this thing checked. If you have it checked, then it presents it in paragraph style, and your verse numbers are kind of hidden all over in the paragraph. So it's a little bit harder to find the verse numbers. And then annotations. I'm not sure which is cross references and which is annotations, whether it's the letters or the numbers, but it's again, these symbols that appear not only in the English texts, but also in the Hebrew texts. And let me just click on one of these to see how that shows up. So the letters must be the cross references, because down in our information window, we have that. And then the numbers are, what was that called? Whoops, what was that called? Annotations. So John 3:2 there, or attesting miracles, is an annotation. Now, the different size letter A's down here are the text size. And you'll notice in my Hebrew New Testament, I have the largest A selected. And that means that the font I'm seeing in this window is the largest one available. And whatever I click here is the same thing I'm going to see over here. So one selection of these, whether it's in this window or the other window, is going to give me the largest font available. Now, in my English Bible here, that font is pretty large, pretty easy to read, kind of nice. But in the Hebrew window, and this is one of my complaints about this software, is that is a little tiny font, and it is really hard to read. I also have this program, HaKtuvim, on my cell phone and my iPad, and it's even harder to read in that smaller screen format. So this is the largest Hebrew text I can get. If I had my choice, I would be looking at a Hebrew font that's about twice the size as the one that appears here. So, I don't know if my eyesight is good or bad for a person my age, but this Hebrew text is just a little bit small for me, and it's a little bit of a strain to see it. So that's one of the complaints that I have. It may be the only one. Anyway, what I want to share with you is that I believe the study aids in this modern Hebrew New Testament with study aids, I believe that the definitions that are given in Hebrew well, let me demonstrate it first, and then it'll make more sense when I explain it. So if I click on the word shemo, which is the Hebrew word shem, which is the Hebrew word for name, and then it just gives all kinds of information about it. I believe this lexicon information, this Hebrew dictionary information, uses only Old Testament words. So if I click on a word here in my Hebrew New Testament, if that word appears in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Old Testament, then it gives me the definition. But if I click on a word that is not it does not show up in the Old Testament, then I don't get any Hebrew definition. Let me show you an example of that. This word that I have highlighted here, that I want to have highlighted, I got lots of stuff highlighted here. I'm not sure why. This word here that my cursor is hovering over is the word haposhim. That is the Hebrew word for the Pharisees. So if I click on the Pharisees, what I get here is a Greek definition of that word from the original Greek, what they consider to be the original Greek New Testament. So I've got a Greek definition of that word, but no Hebrew definition. Now, having said that, this feature, even though my lexicon doesn't give me a Hebrew definition of the word Pharisees, I still have all the Greek information, and that's true of just about every word. We'll go back to shemo here. I know that comes that in the Greek New Testament, that's onoma, which is the Greek word for name. But in that case, since the word name appears in the Old Testament, I also have Hebrew information. So if I click on a well-known word that appears in both Testaments, I get both Greek information and Hebrew information. That, my friends, is amazing. That is such a treasure, such a blessing. But even if I click on Pharisees, which a word that does not appear in the Old Testament, I still have Greek information on that, and it tells me, what that word means from a Greek perspective, and gives me English definitions and so forth. So that is just the most wonderful thing about this software. And to my knowledge, this is the only Bible software that does that provides you with both Greek and Hebrew definitions of words that appear in the modern translation of the Hebrew New Testament. So I think that's about all I wanted to share with you from the Bible study stuff. This is a very basic, what do I want to say, platform, it's just a very basic platform, but the resources it has are just really special, especially for somebody who's interested in the Hebrew Bible. And you may say, well, why aren't there more languages, or why are there not more resources and stuff like that from, maybe a Christian perspective as opposed to a Messianic Jewish perspective, or a Nazarene Christian perspective. And keep in mind, this is the website. This is free software from the website of the Bible Society in Israel. And they are interested in reaching Israelis and other people around the world with basically Hebrew Bible stuff. This is one of your best resources for Hebrew Bible stuff. So with that in mind, having shared a little bit with you about the study platform, let's look at some of these other options that are available from the Bible Society itself. So if we click on topical study here, it says that topical study is coming soon, and they will have some information on messianic prophecies. And again, the idea of messianic prophecies kind of implies to me that they believe that the prophecies of the Messiah have been fulfilled in the person of Yeshua, of Jesus. Parashat, the parasha are the different like liturgical readings, weekly readings from the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. And then the Haftarot are the readings from the prophets of the Old Testament. So that would be like a liturgical function that it will have. And then a study plan for the Bible. This may turn out to be like a 1-year Bible reading program, or, topical studies or something like that. But they say that's coming soon, so we'll be on the lookout for it. This tells us a little bit about the Bible Society in Israel. So let me just read this with you because it's kind of neat. This is a neat organization. HaKtuvim.co.il is operated by Bible Society in Israel. Our vision is to facilitate the study of the scriptures free of charge and free of advertising, both in Israel and throughout the world. This site is not associated with any organization, denomination, synagogue, or church, but is meant to serve people from any background who desire to dig in the scriptures. The word of God was given freely to the world through the Jewish people, and we endeavor to play our part in making the Bible freely accessible to all. That, my friends, is music to my ears. In the Israeli context, there are many immigrants who do not speak Hebrew as their mother tongue, but are doing their best to learn it. In addition, there are many Arab Israelis who speak both Arabic and Hebrew. Therefore, while our primary focus is Hebrew, we also plan to continue developing resources that specifically respond to the needs of the multilingual Israel community. We feel that these resources will serve many people worldwide as well, and are not only limited to the Israeli context. Let me share just a little story with you, kind of a historical story. When the Zionist movement began in the late 19th century and throughout the 20th century, Jewish people were coming from all over the world to Israel, and most of them spoke very little Hebrew. About the only Hebrew they knew was what they were hearing in the synagogues and so forth. And so people were coming from all over the world, speaking a variety of different languages, and they had a tendency to kind of assemble themselves and develop relationships only with people who spoke the same language. But there was a guy who was part of the Zionist movement named Eleazar ben Yehuda, who made it his mission in life to make the national language of what would become the state of Israel, Hebrew, based largely on the Old Testament vocabulary and sentence structure and syntax and things like that. But he made, he was kind of single-handedly responsible for Hebrew becoming the language of modern day Israel. And I think we kind of owe him a debt of gratitude. It's getting dark here outside, so does that help any? That kind of makes it worse, doesn't it? Let me turn on an overhead light here in my room, and maybe that will help. Oh, that helps somewhat. There's a little bit of glare on there. Let me go on with the reading here. We believe that the scriptures are an essential and primary part of personal relationship with God. Therefore, we hope that the study tools offered on HaKtuvim.co.il help you to discover the meaning of the text of the Bible in a personal way. While some groups and organizations focus on minor teachings that often hinder a person's understanding of the Bible, of God, the God of the Bible and his plan for people, we strive to provide tools that bring you closer to the text itself, trusting that the Holy Spirit will guide you in your understanding. And again, that is music to my ears also. Just give people God's word and let it do its work in their lives. At the Bible Society in Israel, we strive to provide the most accurate and authoritative scripture resources available. If you find errors, please contact us. We'll correct them. If you would like to order a printed copy of the Bible in Hebrew or English, visit our online store, and we will do that in a few minutes. You could click on here, but it will bring you to their shopping function. Please feel free to contact us if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. We would love to hear how HaKtuvim has been a blessing to you. We hope that you enjoy the website and that it is a useful tool for you and many others to study the Bible and come to know the author. And what they mean by that is that God is the author of the Bible. Let's go to the donate function. So if you would like to donate to the Bible Society in Israel, which in my opinion would be a wonderful place for you to donate your kingdom dollars, there's a way you can do that. You can click on their, you can click here, you can go to their website, which is where we're at now, and donate to them. There's a contact function. There's a devotional function here, which is just like a daily reading. But I want to go shopping. So let's click on shop, and it will take us to the store, like the website of that little store that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So here's some of the stuff they have in the store. Let's see, this is stuff about the Bible Society. Here's the list of the things they have. They have Bibles, and that's what I'll click on in a few minutes. They have audio and video, which is a lot of different formats if you want an audio Bible or a video Bible or what, religious material, biblical material. They have books, various books that are written on different biblical subjects. They have children's material. They have stuff on the feasts. And if you're familiar with the Old Testament, that would be stuff like Passover and unleavened bread, and the Feast of First Fruits, Passover, Rosh Hashanah, or the Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. Those are the Old Testament Jewish feasts. They have music, they have songbooks, gifts, outreach material in scripture, portions, which I think is just, I don't know, I'm not sure what that is. Study tools and language guides, jewelry, maps, charts, free items, cards, shofars. The shofar is a ram's horn, trumpet, or bugle or something. And then they have diglots, which is kind of a scholarly word for like two languages of the Bible combined. I'll show you an example of that. So I'm going to click on Bibles here. And it's going to give us a lot of the Bibles that they have available in different language. They have chronological Bibles in Hebrew. If it says Hebrew and it doesn't include the word English, it's just in the Hebrew language. So they have chronological Bibles, Hebrew and Arabic Bibles. So for people who, like Palestinians who live in Israel and speak Arabic, they can also learn Hebrew from this diglot Bible. We have the New Testament in Hebrew with large print and hardcover. We have Hebrew Bible in large print. We have the Delitzsch Hebrew Full Bible. So this is Delitzsch's translation of the New Testament, or it may be the full Bible. I guess it's the Old Testament, which would be, I mean, the standard BSI Old Testament, Bible Society in Israel Old Testament. and the Delitzsch New Testament, but it's the whole Bible, but just in Hebrew. There's no English here. They have the Septuagint, which is the Old Testament translated into the Greek language. So this is just Greek. There's no Hebrew in there. Then they have the Greek New Testament. Oh, I'm sorry, the Greek. This is the lexicon of the Septuagint. So this is all Greek stuff here. They have Hebrew pocket Bibles, and these are, I think they are, yeah, these are Old and New Testaments, but it's Hebrew only. And these are like leather covered and snap covers and stuff like that. But these are a little tiny. I mean, look at the picture there. There's a ballpoint pen beside it. So that's how tiny those Bibles are. So chances are the font in those Bibles is pretty hard to read. Then they've got the, this is the, if I can make that picture go away. Well, this is the, how am I going to do that? Oh, it's the New Covenant in the Aramaic Peshitta text, which is an Aramaic text with a Hebrew translation. So you got Hebrew and Aramaic of the New Covenant side by side. So if you want to learn Aramaic, you can. And the Peshitta is a very old translation of the New Testament, whatever language it was written in. They have illustrated New Testaments in Hebrew for little Jewish kids who want Bible stories from the New Testament. They have the Hebrew English Bible. So this is both languages, the Hebrew and English Bible. The English version is the New American Standard Bible, which is what I was showing you in the software format. And they have 3 different editions of this. You can see that the price goes from $57 and $94 dollars. The Bible there in the forefront is the Hebrew English Bible in hardcover, and that costs $57.14. The one in the middle, which you really can't see very well, is a leather version of the same thing, and I believe that is $74. And then the one in the very back is this one here, and that is the same Bible with leather and a zipper, and it looks like a little button or snap or something down there at the bottom. So that's the most expensive one at $94. And this is the Bible that I bought, I think at my first visit to the Bible Society in Israel, as we were walking through the streets of the old city of Jerusalem. And I bought the leather edition of that, which incidentally, I believe it has gold edge, like gilded edge, colored pages in it. And it's an awesome, awesome Bible. It's one of my favorites, one of my favorite Bibles. The title of that Bible is Sefer HaBritot, which means the writings of the testaments, plural, Old Testament and New Testament. I love this Bible. The only complaint I have is the same complaint about the software program, and that is that the fonts, especially in the Hebrew text, are very small. Now, I can read it okay, but it's a little bit of a strain. It's not an easy reading Bible, but this is an awesome Bible, especially if you're interested in at all in Hebrew. And then there's lots of other things. Here's an audio Bible, annotated Hebrew Bible. I'm not sure what that is. It's probably just got that, cross references and annotations that we looked at in the software. There's a Russian Bible because lots of Russian Jews live in Israel. There's the Russian Bible Compact. There's another page here. We'll look at some of the things that they have. Russian Bible, another Russian Bible, Russian Bible, Russian Bible, Russian Bible, Russian Bible. And here we have the Hebrew English Bible in leather. And as I mentioned before, it's $74. That's what mine looks like. Only actually mine, I do have a New American Standard Version, but I got the older one when I visited there. And that is the Hebrew Bible with the New King James Version, which is probably my all-time favorite English Bible. So I've got one of the old ones that they don't make anymore. And so if you try to buy that New King James version of this Bible, like on Amazon or eBay, wow, you'll pay a lot of money for it. So I'm glad I got it when the getting was good. This is I think it's the same Bible with illustrations in it, and it's called the Jerusalem Family Bible. Then you've got Hebrew and English New Testaments for a lot cheaper, 1860. Then you've got Spanish stuff, you've got French stuff, Hebrew cross-reference Bible. That looks like it's got a lot of kind of nifty stuff in it. I might buy me one of those and just see what's in there. This is the Fire Hebrew Study Bible. Now, I wish they had this in Hebrew and English, but if they did, it would be massive. It would be very thick. As it is, this is only in the Hebrew language. But this is the Fire Bible is a Bible that was produced in English years ago by the Assemblies of God, by a scholarly team from the Assemblies of God. So it's a charismatic Bible or Pentecostal Bible with lots of really nice resources in it. It's one of my favorite English Bibles that I have. And I mean, look at that page. The text is at the top, and then all the annotations at the bottom. They got a lot of commentary, a lot of nice maps, a lot of nice features in that Bible. I have one of these, and I read through it in Hebrew. It's a challenge to read through it in Hebrew, especially the commentary at the bottom. But that is a neat Bible, and it kind of tells me that the Bible Society in Israel is kind of on board with a Pentecostal and charismatic approach to the Bible and our spiritual lives. New Illustrated Bible of Jerusalem. Let me see what page 3 has for us here, and then we'll call it quits. We've got a Hebrew German Bible, full Hebrew Bible standard size. That's just in Hebrew. This is a Hebrew Spanish Bible. And then you have the full Hebrew Bible in leather, compact size, different colors and stuff. And so that's all they have available. So I highly recommend that Hebrew English Bible, the Sefer HaBritot, in Hebrew and English, if you'd like to have that kind of a resource. Let me see if I can get back to the devotional thing. I don't know if I can. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time trying to do it. I'll click maybe a few more times. Oh, outstanding. So let's look at devotional here. And here is the devotional for October 16th, which is the day I'm making this video. The texts are from Isaiah chapter 40 and Isaiah chapter 63. I guess I could read through this. I think I will. I think this will be the way I will finish this, this video. We will read, first of all, from Isaiah 40, verse 11. And by the way, let me see if I can find it. On their website here, this is the language switcher. So I have English here, so our devotion is in English. But if I wanted to switch that to Hebrew or some other language, I could do it. But I don't want to do that because I want to read this for you in English. Isaiah 40, verse 11, and then 28 through 31. He will take care of his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs together and carry them in his arms. He will gently lead their mothers. Don't you know? Haven't you heard? The Lord is the everlasting God. He created all the world. He never grows tired or weary. No one understands his thoughts. He strengthens those who are weak and tired. Even those who are young grow weak. Young people can fall exhausted. But those who trust in the Lord, for help will find their strength renewed. They will rise on wings like eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not grow weak. I don't know exactly what version that is from, but then we read Isaiah 63, 7 through 9. I will tell of the Lord's unfailing love. I will praise the Lord for all he has done. I will rejoice in his great goodness to Israel, which he has granted according to his mercy and love. He said, "They are my very own people. Surely they will not be false again." And he became their savior. And all their suffering, he also suffered, and he personally rescued them. In his love and mercy, he redeemed them. He lifted them up and carried them through all the years. And here's the devotion. I was coming back home after the meeting, and I had my infant daughter and my 3-year-old son with me. My daughter was in a stroller, and my son wanted to ride on my shoulders. Started to run a bit. My son asked me to keep on running. He says, "Abba," which is the Hebrew word for daddy, "I have strength to run." I asked him if he meant that he could run on his own if I took him down from my shoulders. He said, "No, Abba." So on the downhill part of the street, I ran again, and he said to me proudly, "Abba, you see, I have strength to run." Of course, I thought this was very cute, but I also realized that there was an important spiritual lesson in these words and in the way he related to his father. When we have no strength of ourselves, we can rest on the shoulders of the Lord, and we too can say, "I have strength to run." I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have more than enough. I have learned this secret so that anywhere, at any time, I'm content. Whether I am full or hungry, whether I have too much or too little, I have strength to face all conditions by the power that Christ gives me. And you may recognize that that last verse that I just read comes from the New Testament, Philippians 4:12 through 13. So, both the Old and New Testaments appear in this daily devotion that is pretty common. So that kind of tells me that the Bible Society in Israel is either friendly towards Yeshua and Christianity, Nazarene Christianity, or perhaps they are Christians themselves, maybe spirit-filled Pentecostal charismatic type Christians. But wanted to share this website with you, and especially that Bible software. Let me call it quits here and end this video with the, since we're kind of in a Hebrew mode, let me give you the blessing from Numbers chapter 6. It's also known as the Aaronic blessing. We'll do it in Hebrew first and then English. Yivrechecha Adonai vayishmarecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yuhunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And that means the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance on you and give you peace. Shalom, dear friends. I hope you enjoyed this both review and tutorial of HaKtuvim.